What's up? How are you? Welcome to this, that is Descarados. I'm Diana, your trusted lesbian, and welcome to Lesbian or LGBT World Myths. I just made up a jingle. Today we're going to talk specifically about a topic that is quite stigmatized, that is rumored a lot, but that it is specifically talked about within the LGBTQ+ community. Eh? Do you guys hook up with each other in the community? Sometimes yes, baby, sometimes yes. And this is something that is rumored a lot out there. Is it true that lesbians hook up among each other? I mean,
do they give each other a mutual caress? Is it true that if it has already passed this way, it has already passed that way? Is it true that it is difficult to find friendship among lesbians because all of them have already had a bond?
The answer is complex. It may seem like I'm throwing it at my sisters, but remember that I'm also on the sapphic spectrum. And the answer would be sometimes yes, sometimes no. It depends a lot on the friendship groups. But you would say, Aunt Diana, that is very superficial. That answer is not complete. There are many elements and contexts that have to do with it. And you are right, my love. You've got your whole mouth full and really clogged up with truth. Because to say that only one thing is true with respect to such a complex question would be very absurd. And in this space, we are anything but absurd. So let's debunk this myth, this idea that has been created that lesbians can't be friends because something has already happened between them, or that among circles of girlfriends. Always, there are kisses, there are more things. There is a grip and reinforcement of friendship. Yes, there is, but not as you think. I love to talk about these issues because to begin with, I think they are things that cross many of us. But also that people out there kind of use them as an attack, you know?
I mean, it's just that, of course, lesbians are super promiscuous. They are always hooking up among them. Oh no, I'm sure they all kissed each other's mouths. Oh, I'm sure they all know each other's bra size.
Yes, that is true because we are also very open with this subject, with the subject of sexuality. But from that to that in a group of girlfriends, all of them have been with everyone is far from true. But let's analyze it little by little. First, where does this myth, this stereotype, this idea come from? Well, it obviously comes from years ago when the circles of sapphic women, of women who had relationships with each other, well, they were small, baby. And not only small, they were silent. They were something that was not talked about. They even happened, if we go way back, for the times of long ago, there were sewing clubs where the thread sewed love stories. That's right, sisters. That is from those times when we were not allowed to love each other freely. Well, obviously what happened is that there were these small groups of women who met clandestinely to have their nice talk, their nice meeting, their nice communication that they also liked other girls. And that is why in these clubs of friends or sewing, several things were happening. But in reality, they were like meeting points to find another girlie who also liked girlies like you. That was back in the day, and if you look for it in Hollywood, it happened too. If you look for it here in Mexico, in the Golden Cinema, it happened too. If you look it up on TV in the 80s and 90s, it happened too. And it still happens today. And you'll say, so it's true, Diana, the groups of friends are throwing each other out. No. They are not necessarily spaces where you meet other women who are also attracted to other girls.
Wow, I can't find a flaw in his logic.
Now that this has evolved, what starts to happen in the 2010s? If we talk honestly about the evolution of the LGBT community, the opening up of social media, how we are starting to become much more visible. Well, obviously, even with the coming out of the club, let's take it as an example, right? The club, this group of friends. FYI, if you don't follow the podcast, go follow it now because I do it with my friends Brenda, Eliza, Marcella, and Nelly, and we're always talking about lesbian stuff. In these groups, obviously, friendship ties were forced and other types of ties were forced. Therefore, it has been rumored, it is believed that among lesbians in groups of friends, they have all been with each other. That on the one hand. On the other hand, there is a very important element, which is you straight friend, if you are sitting here, which I highly doubt, and you are watching this video. When you go out on the street, as we are educated to live in a heteropatriarchal society, cis hetero, you have no problem going out and flirting and going to the club, to the party, to the movies, to school, to a university, wherever you want, and socialize as a person who can flirt with a woman in any space. As people of diversity, that is not so easy, even though we have advanced a lot. What's my point? It's not like we go out to the street, it's not like we go to the movies, it's not like we go to the university, to work, to any public space, and we can so easily flirt with other women because the cis hetero rule. I mean, it's assumed that in this world we're all heterosexual. So to go out and want to hit on someone when that person might be offended because you like them, that makes it more complicated. So we are back with these two issues. It's going to happen that in those groups of friends, in those social groups where you know that there are other girls who like other girls, well, obviously there's going to be intertwined histories. Obviously they're going to start hitting on each other. And it's not that there are few homosexuals or lesbians in the world. We are a lot, babies. And they are becoming more and more visible. But it is true that suddenly it's a little difficult to approach someone on the street. So in these groups of friends where you develop much more than a friendship, it is normal that suddenly you have had something with one of them and then you probably have a relationship with another person in the same group. So in short, it is true, but it is not a truth as it is socially believed. It's not like I go every weekend with my friends from the club and I'm already hitting on Brenda, Elisa, Marcela, or Nelly. That doesn't happen, sisters. I mean, probably when we met there was flirting, wasn't there? Because that is also very normal. And sometimes it does happen that all of a sudden in the same social groups, there starts to be flirtations among all of them. Because you just met them and suddenly new people come in, new girls, new friends of the friend. And if you are single, baby, you are meeting new people. Literally. That's what's happening. So it's that if obviously new people come into your circle of friends and you're single and you want to have or meet new women, well, that's the space where you're going to do it. Do I make myself clear? Now, imagine this, because I feel that many lesbians are going to be very much attacked by what I'm saying, but others will agree with me because there is also something going on, my friends. When you discover yourself as a sapphic woman, as a lesbian, bisexual, pansexual woman, the joke is that you get out of the hetero rule. All of a sudden, you enter these circles and you see so many girls, baby. You see a reverberation of lesbianism in these spaces that obviously, sisters, you feel the lesbian pulse. You feel the oops, where do I turn? They're all beautiful. Who am I going out with? Wow! It's crazy. It's a lesbian awakening that for a long time, a lot of us sometimes had to keep it quiet. We had to keep it silent because it wasn't like you could do it with your circle of straight college friends, okay? For this reason, it also happens that there are more relationships between groups of friends. And another thing that happens, and there are two other myths that would be very interesting to talk about here, is also the famous myth that because you are a lesbian, you like all women. All women. I will like any woman I see on the street because she is a woman. And I am a lesbian. And I want to have her in my body. That is another myth. A very stupid one that we are going to talk about later. And another important thing that is also part of another of the myths we lesbians have a lot of is, and why are you still friends after there was already something between you? I don't understand that one, but it is an issue for lesbians who tend to be friends with our exes. That idea of breaking up and not talking to the person again who is very important to you doesn't work with lesbians. Not with all, I repeat. Not with all, but with some. And that, babies, is another myth of lesbianism. But well, we'll talk about that another time in another video. So if you don't follow me, you are not subscribed to this beautiful space of love, of homosexual reconciliation, of lesbian encounter, or of heterosexual support, because we also love heterosexuals in this space. I invite you to subscribe, click it, like it, comment it, share it on social networks. If you are out of the closet, if you are not out of the closet, if you are a heterosexual person, it doesn't matter, baby, you share it. Even if you didn't like it, let's make someone else not like it, and so on. Also follow me on all my networks, Lamas Desgrada, everywhere. And am I the most shameless? Yes, I am. But well, babies of life, of love, of all that is most beautiful, the time has come for the Descredo's conclusion. By way of conclusion, and this, as you know, is only my opinion. If you disagree, leave yours in the comments. I think so indeed. There are several elements, such as those I have already mentioned throughout the video, of why Sapphic women tend to socialize in groups of friends. Now, that is not the same as friendship reinforcement. Friendship reinforcement is different, but we'll talk about that some other time. The bottom line is, do lesbians hook up with each other? No, baby, we don't all hook up each other. There are those of us who are friends, and it's never gone beyond that. And there are others with whom the friendship is usually strengthened. This does not apply to all or to everyone. But it is true that it happens a little bit more. It is true that it becomes a little more striking, this type of relationship. But from that to all of us being with each other, not really, baby, not really. And if you do, it's great. And if you don't, also, baby, that's the beauty, as always, of diversity. But hey, babies of life, of the most beautiful thing in this world, I'm leaving now. This was just my opinion. And I, as always, as every week, as every moment of my life, I send you a whole bunch of kisses. Behave very badly, but take good care of yourself, and see you in the next video of Descarados and on my social networks and in Enchiladex and in the club and in Pride Talks. So, bye! I don't know why I'm still doing this if I'm already 35 years old. Bye.